Alrighty, so depending on what side of the spectrum you're on, whether that be Democrat or Republican, you're looking at a 0.0003% all the way up to a 13% amount of election fraud per election. Now, one way that we're going to get rid of this is we're going to unplug. What I mean by that is we're going to unplug from the internet. One way that we're going to do that is we're going to go back about 50 to 60 years. We're going all the way back to analog. Now, the way that this will be beneficial to us is we can upload the program, we don't need updates, and we don't need security updates. It will just work. Here's what I mean by that. Now, this is going to be set up similar, but basically identical for the average voter. It's going to look exactly like the average voting booth today. So, the way this is going to go is we're still going to have the viewing window and the printer so that everyone can see the ballots being printed out as they print. And that's going to get stored safely directly in the bottom of the ballot box. Now, as for the ECU, we're going to suspend this hopefully about 1 to 2 feet within the ballot box so that it acts as an extra cage to protect this from any outside intruders. Now, we're also going to have this screen, and it can either be touchscreen or we can have some buttons. And this will act as a sacrificial part so that if someone does try to tamper with the booth, the screen will obviously get tampered with, destroyed, and then we can go ahead and we can take the booth and put it out of service, and then we can examine all of the ballots underneath. Now, the other way that we're going to protect this, if you look over here, is we're going to use some 90s technology, right? Oftentimes with cars, there's been problems, or even old computers like the ones that were used to take people to the moon. There would be issues with solar flares or electromagnetic waves that would create binary changes. Now, the way that they fixed that back in the 90s was they went ahead and they surrounded the ECU with a clay cover. This acted as a Faraday cage. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to not only cover it with clay, but we're going to also cover it with aluminum and possibly titanium, depending on how much money we can get for this project. Now, all these together are going to create a secure voting system that is going to keep all of the information exactly how people input it, and it's going to protect it from any outside intruders. The second part is going to be right here. With these two systems, we're going to be able to provide full transparency to the American people and to the people of Ohio. Now, not only are we going to have an exact record because of this analog system, but we're going to have an old-fashioned complete record with our ballots. And with our other system, you are going to have not only the ability, but the responsibility to make sure that our elections stay fraud-free. This also basically gives you the ability to not have This also basically gives you no excuse to complain about politics in the future. Now, there is a little bit of a conundrum, a disagreement, if you will, about mail-in ballots. It is obviously a bit of an issue. I think that this system will work perfectly fine with the system that we already have right now, especially with mail-in ballots. They already have a pretty decent structure for making sure that there's no fraud when it comes to the addresses and whatnot. However, what I would really like to do is I'd really like to set this up to where we have enough of these and they're permanent systems to where we build them up to where we can actually put them or bring them to people who are disabled, such as in nursing homes or in areas where workers might not be able to leave their jobs and come vote. So that's not something that's a necessary thing, but it is hopefully in the future going to be the way that we move forward with that, to where mail-in ballots can be used for people who are not in this country but still need to vote, while also necessitating the fact that, or facilitating the need for people who need transportation to voting, or honestly just need the voting brought to them, honestly. And I think this is a system that I think we can all get along with, whether that be Republican or Democrat. You can literally see, and we can archive, have live footage, whatever, proof that our elections are 100% transparent. Unlike with these new computerized systems where we can throw an update on this at 12:30 in the morning and suddenly a number might change by a couple thousand. This is never going to happen with this setup. It is going to have the exact same program from the day that it was manufactured to the day that it is retired. And I hope this is something you're all interested in. Thank you. Good night.